James, how big of a loss was Logan's absence on the field Monday night?
We look at Logan as a key member of this defense, a leader, playmaker for this defense. So we definitely missed him out there. But I was still confident in the guys that we lined up with.
Got a chance to talk to him. What's his mental state at this point? What's he kind of thinking?
Yeah, we talked. You got to move on to the next game. That's the way of the league. Tomorrow's over. You got to move on to the next day.
Leonard Williams mentioned after the game that he was disappointed in the amount of pressure you guys got. How hard is it to cover when you get no pressure?
So from my perspective, I always try to look at my, what I'm doing out there, and I didn't play up to my standard, my ability. So I don't even look at. I started myself first before I look at my front seven. So I didn't play up to my part. So I don't even look at the pressure yet. I'm just looking at my game and what I can do to improve.
On the Evans touchdown, that's one that was talked about a lot on TV, and I'm sure you probably heard that conversation about the double team. And
yeah.
How much were you expecting help there in the middle, and kind of what kind of went wrong in your estimation?
What went wrong was, I was just he was a big dude, so I should have played him underneath more so than being like hip to hip with him. That way I can protect myself at the goal line and force him to throw it over top. I didn't expect help on that play, and that's just the call,
What do you guys think when you hear that, though? It was something that they kind of was harped on a little bit.
Honestly, I didn't watch the video, but I'm sure they talked about it because it was Mike Evans. He broke like the franchise record or something, right? So I'm sure they talked about it a lot. I haven't watched the video, so I didn't listen to the commentary and whatnot. I just know I messed up. I should have been a lot lower.
With the Eagles, how hard is it? Last week they rushed the ball 50 times. As a DB, how do you handle that in the sense of, do you inch up closer or do you just play your position?
You just got to do your part, do your job, whatever the assignment is on that play. Make sure you're aware for the pass. I'm a cornerback, so I play pass first most of the time, then I come back and help them to run. So you got to be ready when your name is called, whenever the receiver cracks, you got to make sure you come up there and make a tackle. But you got to always be aware of the pass,
How much of a challenge does Jalen Hurts present as a guy that can run as well as he does?
He presents definitely a challenge for us because, like you said, his legs, it's another weapon for him. He does have a good arm. I feel like he's pretty accurate and makes good decisions. So he's definitely a challenge for us. We just got to go out there and try to execute.
What Devontae Smith, James? I don't know if somebody asked about. What do you think about Devontae Smith?
I think he's crafty and he's athletic. I watched his releases and his route running. I feel like he runs very good routes. Just a savvy guy for a young guy in this league. Has some smoothness to him.
How rare is that? That's not usually what you hear about a young guy.
Yeah, I assume it has something to do with him going to Alabama. That's a big college. They're well respected. They put guys in the league all the time, so I'm sure that helped out a lot.
James, how can you start tackling better? What is going on your tackle attempts?
I just got to make sure, I'm focused when I get up there, and I make sure I'm grabbing and actually grabbing, a piece of the body, instead of sliding off. I feel like the times I did miss tackles, I came up, and I feel like I had them, but, I kind of slid off. I just make sure I wrap up and, get them down.
When you guys are in meetings and you're talking about the Eagles' offense, I know you're a cornerback, but does the talk start with their offensive line? That seems to be like what they build their offense around there.
I think the number one thing for a defense, any defense in this league, the defense that I was in my first 4 years, we always talked about stopping the run first. And I think that's the first thing you got to do in this league is stop the run before you even make an attempt at stopping the pass. So they do have a good offensive line. They do a lot up front. They have some good weapons in the backfield that they can use to exploit your defense. But you got to make sure you stop the run first and handle that, and then protect the pass second.
JB, does anything still linger between the Giants and the Eagles after last year's Week 17 with the, beating the Cowboys and then going home and watching them play Washington?
I don't think anything lingers from last year. I just think, it's just a rivalry between the Eagles and the Giants that's built from way back then, back before I was born. So I just feel like it's a lot of, animosity there in general.
What do you remember about that night watching that game?
Honestly, I watched the game through Twitter. I watched like the first quarter, but then I got off, and then I kind of assumed that they weren't gonna play him too much. So really not too many thoughts. We're just gonna attack this game, play in the present,
James,
Joe?
sorry.
Joe was very vocal about it afterwards, at least with us. Have you noticed that at all from him? Is that anything he ever, as a coach, brought to you guys as players and talked about?
No, not really. Things aren't going to it right now. So, we're just trying to win the game. It's another game. The Eagles are up right now, and that's what we're playing, and that's what our focus is on.
James, how much of an impact I know it happened on the offensive side of the ball, but when a move like firing a coordinator is made, what message does that send to the players and the team?
This is a production business, and we need to produce.